Hi, everybody. My name is Lisa Keslar with Keslar Insurance, and I am happy to be here with you all today for Cheers for Charity New Hampshire. And as always, I'm with my dear friend Joanne Burchuck of Lighthouse Physical Therapy. Nice to see you, Joanne.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you. Yes, it's so great to be here again. And I'm very excited about introducing our next guest. He's a good business partner of ours, Dr. Tyler Evans, and he is with Arete Chiropractic. And very excited to hear what they're all up to in their foundation. So hello, Tyler. Thank you for joining us today. And just introduce yourself if you would, and just, briefly tell us about Arete.
Absolutely. Thank you, ladies. We really appreciate the opportunity. You guys have a great program that you're providing for local area nonprofits. And to start the conversation, I'll just describe briefly how we got here. So in 2015, my wife, Dr. Michael Beebe, and we moved across the country from Seattle because she grew up here, went to college at UNH, and we really liked the area. And so we moved out here and we started our business, Arete Chiropractic, which is an upper cervical chiropractic clinic. We focus on balancing the head back on the spine properly by correcting the upper cervical joints, the C1 and C2. Now, that's a specialty within chiropractic. We don't do any twisting or popping. It's very gentle, it's specific, and we focus on people with serious head and neck trauma and injuries, things that go along with migraines, vertigo, numbness and tingling in the face or the neck, neck pain, but you get it. So it's concussions, head and neck trauma. And so what we started to recognize and notice is that this area has a lot of veterans and active duty military. And we were noticing that they don't have benefits through TRICARE for chiropractic, or they didn't at the time. There now are benefits through TRICARE, but they are only given to patients or military vets or active duty that are on a base where there is a chiropractor. Guess how many of those there are? One in the entire state, and it's in Manchester, and it's really hard to get in. So, and that's new, that's a recent development. So we saw a problem and we wanted to solve that problem. Also, on top of that, opioids are a huge problem in this state. And they were huge when we first got here, and I think that they still are. But the VA, has got some, I believe, some issues in how they treat and diagnose and care for two main problems that veterans come back from. I did come back from Iraq and Afghanistan with. One is PTSD, and the second is post-concussion syndrome. And those come from blasts and loud noises and things like that. And so what we specifically help people with are those two things, quite frankly, when it comes to the veteran and active duty groups. So it just was a perfect kind of combination of environmental circumstances that we were like, we need to help these people. And so we developed this foundation. It's a 501c3 that is to benefit active duty and veterans for the head and neck issues that they're struggling with basically what we consider reduced fees. So if you were to go to a chiropractor on a base and you were to use the TRICARE benefits, you would have a copay, right? And so that's basically what we took our fees down to, is like you have a copay. And so it's a great benefit to those people, because not only are they getting chiropractic, but they're getting specific chiropractic care for their issues, which are the number 1 and 2 diagnoses of active duty and retired veterans. So there's just a couple of things that we do require and request of the people that come in for the foundation. So it's called the Craniocervical Foundation. We require that they either have, if they are active duty, that they have a ID, so military ID. If they're a veteran, there's actually either a type of ID or a form. I believe that I don't remember the acronym of it. There's a ton of them in the military world, but if you're a veteran, you know what I'm talking about. There's an ID you get when you are a veteran. So we just ask that you show proof that you were in the military or that you are. And then we also extend that scenario of reduced care and reduced fees with that specific upper neck correction to those who may actually fall below the poverty line or who are disabled. And there are a lot of people in the Seacoast that are disabled and just can't afford care anyway. So they have disability paperwork, or we see their I believe it's the AGI, the adjusted gross income, on the tax form. So those are the ways that we award the benefits through the Craniocervical Foundation. We also require an application. So those are the big things. And I think that's most of it, but the word craniocervical, that means cranium is skull, cervical is neck. And so we're correcting that connection between the brain and the body. And for a lot of people, that makes a big difference. It literally turns the power back on for their body to heal. So that's the Craniocervical Foundation. And we have a website, craniocervicalfoundation.org. And we have a phone number. It is located on the website. And we also have our regular office phone number, which is 603-380-9184, and you can reach us at our Arete Chiropractic office at office at Arete Chiro, so ARETECHIRO.com. And those are the two easiest ways to get a hold of us, but there are specific Craniocervical Foundation emails and phone numbers on the website. They're a little trickier to pull off the old memory there, but they are available if you go on that craniocervicalfoundation.org. So that's, I think, most everything. Do you guys have any questions about what we do?
Well, I'm very familiar with what you do. You know, as a partner, you know, we love working with you guys and make such a difference for the patient. Just kind of curious, I think the foundation is fairly new. So how are you getting the word out currently to people to know that this service is available?
That's a good question. So number one is just through word of mouth. I would say, you know, we have a board and we try to do things once a year where we really get out in the community and do a big community kind of fundraiser. We weren't able to do it this year because of COVID, but you know, last year we had a big fundraising event at the Blue Mermaid, and it was a big hit. It was in the beginning of 2019, and that was a ton of fun. We used had Javi callback from the Portsmouth escape room. She brought a mobile game to the Blue Mermaid. So that was a ton of fun. It's fun to do things like that, you know, and get the word out to people. And then, you know, just through internet, through, you know, Google listings and blogs. We write a lot of blogs. We do a lot of videos on YouTube. So you can look up the foundation. There's a bunch of videos on there. There's a bunch of blogs. So you can check out research and all the fun things that we do there.
Oh, that's great. Well, I think it's amazing that you're giving back to this community that works so hard to protect us. And, you know, it's nice to be able to offer these services for them.
Yeah, can you tell, your kind of chiropractic too is so specific, and our families have the privilege of you know, being assisted by you and helped by you, but not everybody knows what it is. Could you give like a, you know, the elevator pitch and how upper cervical, like what do they physically, you know, what's your expectation when someone shows up for this service? You get a veteran who shows up, what can he expect to have happen to him?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, there are many ways to do chiropractic. The number one goal in chiropractic is to connect the brain, through the spine, back to the nerves in the body that connect to every single organ, tissue, and cell in your body. And what we find is that as the spine misaligns over time, either from birth trauma or head and neck injuries as we age, or just repetitive stresses from sitting in poor postures for long periods of time, which we all have, right? Like we all have this stuff, but our veteran, people, they tend to have more of those concussive blasts. I believe they're called IEDs, the roadside bombs. I can't tell you how many people, or jumping out of helicopters. That's another one. I mean, these are like crazy things, but I have regular conversations with people that, yeah, I was a paratrooper. I jumped out of, C-130s flying over Iraq, and I hit the ground really hard a bunch. I'm like, wow, you are amazing and you need care, right? And so what we do is we align the spine specifically at C1 and C2 because those top two vertebrae don't have a disc above or below. And so what we find is that when those bones, they misalign more than any other vertebra in the spine. And that tilts the head. And so the eyes are not level with the horizon. And so the head's not sitting straight. That's not good for brain health. So the brain does everything it can to try to balance that out. So it will literally pull shoulders out of balance. It will rotate hips one way or the other and try to kind of twist and configure the whole spine and the whole body to balance because that one vertebra is out of place. So what we do is we analyze that very specifically. We have an amazing technology in our office that I think we're still the only people in New England with it. That number is quickly changing as we put word out about how amazing it is, but it's called cone beam CT. It's a dental technology. We get 3D information of how the bones are sitting, and then we do a special 3D correction without any twisting or popping. It's very gentle and specific to get the bones back in place, to take pressure off the nerves, to allow those amazing brain signals to come back to the body to do the healing that it's meant to do. And so that's what, in general, chiropractic is meant to do, but we go specifically right to C1 and C2, where I believe there in a lot of people is the largest misalignment that you can have, and can literally affect the entire spine from top to bottom, balance out hips, balance out legs, and from there health returns. So that's how we go about it. And in those veteran populations, that tends to be a big site where there's been a lot of trauma. Those head and neck traumas they abound in the military world. So
Fascinating. Well, I'm so grateful for what you guys do, and that you're supporting those people who've really supported us. That means so much. So we thank you for being another fantastic contributor in our community, for making a difference in the lives of our friends and neighbors. And we look forward to continue to support, and we are grateful to have you as part of our Cheers for Charity New Hampshire family. Thank you so much for being here.
thank you guys. Really, really appreciate it. You guys are doing a great service for the Seacoast. So thank you.
Oh.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you for joining us, Tyler.
Absolutely. Thank you.